Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes. Today, we're diving into, well, I guess you could say we're setting sail on an adventure with Virgil's epic poem, the Aeneid.
Ah, the Aeneid. A story that takes us from the ashes of fallen Troy to the very foundation of the Roman Empire. It's a tale woven with, well, lots of things. Fate, duty, love, loss. And you know what? It's as relevant today as it was all those centuries ago.
You know, I have to admit, epic poetry can be a little intimidating. So what are the big, I guess you could say, the big ideas we should keep in mind as we, kind of delve into this story?
Well, just imagine a man burdened by destiny, chosen by the gods to establish a new civilization, Aeneas. A Trojan prince escapes the destruction of his city. And then he embarks on this perilous journey to fulfill his fate. And his fate is, you guessed it, to found Rome. But along the way, he faces storms, battles, temptations, all while wrestling with the weight of his responsibility.
So it sounds like it's more than just physical journey.
Exactly.
It's about internal struggles too.
Exactly. The core themes of the Aeneid is this tension between personal desires and duty. Aeneas is constantly torn, what he wants versus what he's obligated to do, and the consequences, they ripple through generations, shaping the course of history.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to set sail with Aeneas. Where do we begin?
Well, the poem kind of throws us right into the action. 7 years after the Trojan War, Aeneas and his fleet are caught in a ferocious storm. And this storm, it was conjured by Juno, the queen of the gods.
So we've got, right off the bat, we have divine intervention.
Oh, yeah.
Shaping the course of events.
Absolutely.
Why does Juno have it out for the Trojans?
It's personal and prophetic. She still holds a grudge from the Trojan War, of course. And a prophecy foretells that Aeneas' descendants, they will destroy her beloved city, Carthage. Talk about holding a grudge.
Wow. So Aeneas is caught in the crosshairs of this divine conflict right from the beginning.
From the very beginning.
What happens next?
Well, despite Juno's best efforts, Aeneas and his weary crew, they manage to land on the shores of Africa. And here's where another god steps in. Venus, Aeneas' mother, guides him to the flourishing city of Carthage, ruled by, you know her, the beautiful Queen Dido.
Ah, a little motherly assistance.
Right.
I bet it isn't just about finding a safe haven.
You're catching on quickly. This meeting, it marks a pivotal point in Aeneas' journey. He finds himself drawn to Dido, and their connection, it blossoms into a passionate love affair.
But didn't you say Aeneas is destined to found Rome? How does this love story, how does it fit into the grand scheme of things?
That's the beauty of the Aeneid. It's not just a straightforward hero's journey. Aeneas' heart, it's a torn between his love for Dido and the weight of his destiny. And this conflict, with this tension between love and duty, it becomes, a major driving force in the story.
I can already see how this internal struggle kind of mirrors those, we all face in our own lives.
Yeah.
We often have to make these, difficult choices between what we desire and what we feel obligated to do.
Exactly. The Aeneid taps into these universal human experiences, which is why it resonates across centuries.
So while Aeneas is in Carthage and falling for Dido, what about the fall of Troy? How does Virgil weave that into the narrative?
In a brilliant move, Virgil uses a flashback, narrated by Aeneas to Dido, to recount the horrors of Troy's destruction. It's a story within a story, adding depth and context to Aeneas' current predicament.
What are some of the key moments from that fateful night?
Aeneas describes the cunning strategy of the Greeks, the infamous Trojan horse. It's become a symbol of deception and treachery. He relives the brutal sacking of the city, witnesses the death of his king, and the desperate flight of his fellow Trojans.
And through it all, Aeneas manages to escape, carrying his elderly father, leading his young son. That imagery, is so powerful, so evocative of the burdens he carries.
Absolutely. That image, it's become iconic. Aeneas, burdened by family and duty, fleeing a burning city. It embodies the weight of responsibility, and it speaks to the sacrifices we make for those we love, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, in the face of adversity.
So Aeneas has shared this, this really traumatic experience with Dido. What impact does that have on their relationship?
It deepens their connection. Dido, she's moved by Aeneas' tale of suffering and resilience. And their love for each other just intensifies. But this moment of intimacy, it also kind of underscores, the fleeting nature of their happiness. Aeneas, after all, is still driven by his destiny.
Okay, so we have a love story. blooming amidst the shadow of a fallen city. Where does Aeneas' journey take him next?
Well, his stay in Carthage, while blissful, can't last forever. The gods, particularly Mercury, the messenger of Jupiter, remind Aeneas of his duty. He's not meant to linger in Carthage. He's destined for greater things.
So, back to fulfilling his destiny?
To it.
Back to the weight of that divine mission. How does Aeneas respond to this call?
It's a heart-wrenching moment. Aeneas, he's torn. He's fallen deeply in love with Dido, but the gods are insistent. He wrestles with his conscience, agonizing over the choice, love or duty. Ultimately, he chooses duty, and it's a decision that will have devastating consequences.
Oh, I'm already feeling the weight of this choice. What happens when Aeneas decides to leave Carthage?
He tries to leave secretly, but Dido, she discovers his plans.
Oh,
Her world crumbles. She pleads with Aeneas to stay. She even offers to share her kingdom, defy fate itself for their love. But Aeneas, bound by duty, driven by the will of the gods, well, he remains resolute.
This is a classic conflict.
It is.
The heart versus the head.
Yes.
Passion versus responsibility. It's a dilemma that's, well, it's as old as time.
Absolutely. And Virgil captures the raw emotion of this conflict beautifully. One of the most famous passages in the Aeneid is Dido's impassioned plea to Aeneas, a speech filled with love, anger, and ultimately despair. It's just a testament to the power of Virgil's language and his ability to depict, the depths of human emotion.
So Aeneas chooses duty over love. What becomes of Dido?
Her heart shattered, betrayed by the man she loved, Dido, she chooses a tragic end. She curses Aeneas and his descendants, foreshadowing the future conflict between Rome and Carthage. And then she takes her own life. It's a powerful and haunting scene, highlighting the devastating consequences of Aeneas' choice.
Wow, this deep dive is already full of twists and turns. I can't wait to see where Aeneas' journey takes us next.
As we sail further into the Aeneid, I think we start to see Aeneas grappling with, I guess you could say the emotional fallout of his decision. Leaving Carthage. Leaving the woman he loved, it was a sacrifice. Demanded by duty, of course, but it leaves a scar on his soul.
It's a stark reminder that even when we make choices that we believe are right, there can be these heartbreaking consequences.
Exactly, and this sense of loss and melancholy, it permeates the next stage of Aeneas' journey as he and his fleet continue their search for the fated land of Italy.
From what I recall, their voyage isn't exactly smooth sailing. Do they encounter any more obstacles along the way?
Oh, definitely. Their journey, it's fraught with challenges. Storms, hostile tribes, and even the allure of a false sense of home in Crete, where they initially believed they found their destination.
It seems like fate is testing Aeneas' resolve at every turn, just pushing him to the limits of his endurance. What keeps him going through all of this?
It's a combination of factors: the unwavering belief in his destiny, the duty to his people who rely on him for guidance, and perhaps maybe even a deep-seated need to honor his father's wishes. Remember Anchises before his death and trusted Aeneas with this mission of founding a new Troy.
It's a heavy burden to carry, the hopes of an entire people resting on his shoulders. But Aeneas isn't just driven by duty.
Right.
He's also guided by the gods, isn't he?
You're right. Divine intervention, it plays a significant role in shaping Aeneas's his path. We see this so vividly in his journey to, the underworld.
The underworld, a classic motif in epic literature. What's the significance of Aeneas's descent into the realm of the dead?
It's a pivotal moment, a turning point in his understanding of his destiny. Guided by, the Sibyl, a prophetess, he navigates the horrors of the underworld, and ultimately he encounters the spirit of his father, Anchises.
So it's a reunion with his deceased father. In the depths of the underworld, what wisdom does he impart to Aeneas?
Anchises reveals the grand scope of Aeneas's destiny. He shows him visions of the future glory of Rome, the lineage of, great heroes who will descend from him, and the impact his actions will have on, generations to come. It's a moment of, profound revelation of inspiration, reinforcing Aeneas's commitment to his mission.
It's almost like a pep talk from beyond the grave,
Yeah.
a reminder that his struggles aren't in vain, that his sacrifices will ultimately lead to the founding of a great civilization.
That's a great way to put it. And it's interesting to note how this encounter with Anchises also kind of underscores, well, the cyclical nature of history. Rome, it's envisioned as a continuation,
Yeah.
a rebirth of Troy, but it also, it carries with it these echoes of, well, past conflicts and the potential for future glory and tragedy.
So Aeneas emerges from the underworld.
Right.
Armed with a renewed sense of purpose, he finally reaches the shores of Italy, the land promised to him by the gods. But is it smooth sailing from here?
Not quite. Remember Juno? Oh, she's not about to let Aeneas settle peacefully in Italy. She incites a war between the Trojans and the Latins, the indigenous people of the region.
So the conflict shifts from
Very
internal struggles
to external battle.
to external battles.
What are the forces at play in this war?
On the surface, it's a territorial conflict, a clash between newcomers and those who see the Trojans as invaders. King Latinus, the ruler of Latium. Oh, he's initially open to welcoming Aeneas.
Yeah.
Influenced by a prophecy that suggests a foreign marriage for his daughter, Lavinia. However, Turnus, a powerful prince who is also vying for, Lavinia's hand, fiercely opposes the Trojans' arrival.
So we have political tensions, personal rivalries, and a dash of prophecy thrown into the mix.
Right.
Sounds like a recipe for epic conflict. It certainly is, but beneath the surface, there's this deeper symbolic layer to this conflict. It represents, I think it represents the clash between, the old order and the new, between established powers and the forces of change. Aeneas, as the agent of destiny, embodies this disruptive force, challenging the existing power structures and paving the way for a new era.
It's fascinating how Virgil weaves together these personal and political conflicts with these grand historical themes. And it makes you wonder, about the parallels to our own world, where clashes between different cultures, ideologies, and power dynamics continue to shape the course of events.
Absolutely. Aeneid speaks to these timeless struggles, making it a story that transcends its historical context and resonates with readers across centuries.
Okay, so we have a war brewing in Italy.
We do.
What are some of the key battles and characters that shape the outcome of this conflict?
Virgil takes us right into the heart of the action, depicting the brutality and the emotional toll of war. Book X, for instance, it's just a whirlwind of intense battles and heartbreaking losses. We witness the death of Pallas, a young warrior, Aeneas' protege, killed by Turnus, and this loss, it unleashes a furious rage in Aeneas, transforming him into a more ruthless, vengeance-driven warrior.
It's a reminder that war can warp even the most noble of hearts.
It can.
Twisting compassion into this thirst for revenge. It makes you question the true cost of victory, the scars that remain long after the battles are won.
That's a profound observation, and it's something Virgil explores further through the character of Mezentius, a tyrannical ruler who embodies the darker aspects of war. He's a fierce warrior, but also a cruel and merciless leader, despised by his own people. His son Lausus, on the other hand, is a loyal and courageous young man, caught in the crossfire of his father's ambitions.
It sounds like a classic father-son conflict played out against the backdrop of war. What ultimately happens to Mezentius and Lausus?
Their fates are intertwined, tragically so. Lausus, in a display of filial devotion, sacrifices himself to protect his father from Aeneas' wrath. Mezentius, witnessing his son's selfless act, is overcome with grief and remorse. Recognizing the error of his ways, he challenges Aeneas to a duel, knowing he'll likely meet his end.
It's a powerful and heartbreaking scene, a father's grief, a son's loyalty, all culminating in a final act of defiance. It makes you think about the complexities of family ties, the burdens of legacy, and the choices we make in the face of overwhelming odds.
And it's interesting to note how Virgil uses these characters to kind of explore different facets of heroism. Lausus, he embodies the traditional heroic virtues: courage, loyalty, selflessness. Mezentius, on the other hand, represents a more ambiguous, flawed form of heroism, one driven by pride and ambition, but ultimately redeemed by his capacity for love and remorse.
So we see the full spectrum of human emotions and motivations played out on the battlefield.
We do.
But the war it isn't over yet, is it? What happens next?
The conflict culminates in a final showdown between Aeneas and Turnus, a duel that will decide the fate of, well, of both the Trojans and the Latins. And Virgil, oh, he masterfully builds the tension,
Yeah.
drawing us into the emotional and psychological complexities of this climactic encounter.
This is it. The moment of truth, the destiny of nations, the culmination of years of struggle,
Yeah.
all hinging on this one battle. I can't wait to hear what happens. We left off with Aeneas and Turnus, locked in this duel that'll determine the fate of both the Trojans and the Latins. And it's not just about like personal rivalry. This is about, the future of an entire civilization. So what leads up to this final clash?
Well, the stage is set for an epic showdown. Aeneas, is bolstered by his journey to the underworld and the visions, of Roman glory. He faces Turnus, who represents, I guess you could say, the resistance to change and the defense of the old order.
It's like the forces of destiny are colliding head on.
Yeah.
How does Virgil portray this, this pivotal duel?
Oh, he captures both the physical and psychological intensity of the battle. We see the clash of swords, the fury of the warriors, but we also see the inner turmoil, the doubts, and the fears that kind of haunt both Aeneas and Turnus.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of battle, there's a human element, a vulnerability that, it kind of underscores the cost of conflict. Do the gods intervene in this final confrontation?
Of course. The divine players, they're still very much present, manipulating events from behind the scenes, of course. Juno, determined to thwart Aeneas' destiny, she makes a last-ditch effort to protect Turnus, while Venus, she continues to champion her son.
Almost like a cosmic chess match.
Right.
Like the gods using human lives as pawns.
Yes.
In their game of power.
That's a great analogy, and it raises questions about free will versus destiny.
Yeah.
A recurring theme throughout the Aeneid. Are these characters truly in control of their actions, or are they merely playing out roles predetermined by the gods?
It's a question that has resonated throughout history, hasn't it? Do we shape our own destinies, or are we bound by forces beyond our control?
Exactly. And Virgil doesn't offer, any easy answers. He leaves us to grapple with those questions, to ponder the complexities of fate and human agency.
So how does this epic duel between Aeneas and Turnus play out? Who emerges victorious?
The battle, it's fierce and evenly matched. Both warriors are, they're skilled and driven, fueled by a mix of, duty, rage, and desperation. But ultimately, Aeneas prevails. He wounds Turnus, disarming him, and stands poised to deliver the final blow.
This is it, the moment of truth, the culmination of Aeneas's long and arduous journey.
What does he
do?
This is where the complexity of Aeneas's character, it really shines through. He hesitates. He sees Turnus defeated, pleading for mercy, and he's torn between the desire for vengeance and the possibility of showing compassion.
It's a profound moment.
Yes.
Of moral reckoning.
Yeah.
And he has every right to avenge the deaths of his comrades,
Especially Pallas.
But he also has the opportunity to break the cycle of violence, to show a measure of mercy, what ultimately guides his decision.
Virgil, he masterfully portrays the conflicting emotions kind of swirling within Aeneas. On the one hand, he sees the belt of Pallas worn as a trophy by Turnus, a reminder of the young warrior's tragic death. It fuels his rage, his thirst for retribution. On the other hand, he sees a flicker of fear and desperation in Turnus's eyes, a plea for life.
So he's caught between the demands of justice and the possibility of mercy.
Yes.
A dilemma that's all too familiar in our own world.
Precisely. And in that moment of decision, Aeneas's eyes, they fall on the belt of Pallas. It's a powerful symbol of loss, of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of destiny, and it tips the scales, driven by a surge of anger and a sense of obligation to avenge his fallen comrade. Aeneas delivers the fatal blow.
Aeneas chooses vengeance over mercy. What impact does this decision have on him, on his destiny?
It's a victory tinged with sadness, a triumph that comes at a great cost. Turnus's death marks the end of the war,
Mm.
paving the way for the founding of Rome. But, it also leaves this lingering sense of, well, of ambiguity, a question mark kind of hanging over Aeneas's legacy.
It makes you wonder if the founding of Rome, this great civilization, is it built on a foundation of violence and vengeance? Does Virgil offer any resolution, any sense of closure?
The ending of the Aeneid is, well, it's as complex and thought-provoking as the journey itself. We see Aeneas standing victorious, yet burdened by the weight of his choices. The poem doesn't offer a neat resolution, a simple celebration of Roman glory.
Yeah.
Instead, it leaves us with this lingering sense of unease, a recognition of the moral complexities of empire building.
So the Aeneid isn't just an epic tale of, adventure and heroism. It's a meditation
Prime meditation.
on the nature of fate, the burdens of leadership,
Mhm.
and the enduring consequences of our choices. What are the key takeaways for us as readers today?
I think the Aeneid challenges us to confront the complexities of our own world, to consider the difficult choices we face as individuals and as societies. It reminds us that the pursuit of grand ideals often comes at a price, that victory can be both, triumphant and tragic.
And perhaps it leaves us with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
If we were in Aeneas's sandals facing those impossible choices, what would we have done?
That's the power of great literature. It stays with us, prompting us to examine our own values, our own understanding of right and wrong. It invites us to engage in a dialogue that transcends time, connecting us to the enduring struggles and triumphs of the human spirit.